Hello students, welcome back to my channel. Today I will be discussing about acids, bases and salts. This is the fourth lesson of this topic. If you haven't watched the previous lessons, then first go and watch those videos, then come back to this lesson. So let's start the lesson. In this video, I will be talking about salts. Now for that, first we need to know what is a salt. Now salt is a compound which is formed by either the partial or the complete replacement of the replaceable hydrogen ion of an acid. Now what is a replaceable hydrogen ion? Replaceable hydrogen ion means it is the ionizable hydrogen ion. That means the hydrogen ion which can be ionized. So that type of hydrogen ion of an acid is either partially or completely replaced by a metallic ion or ammonium ion, that means basically by a basic radical, so as to form a compound which is known as salt. So let's take an example. Suppose NaOH, sodium hydroxide, when it reacts with an acid, then it forms sodium bisulfate. This is a salt and water. See, here in this case, there is partial replacement of the hydrogen ion. Why? See, in H2SO4, there are total of 2 hydrogen which can be replaced. But in the salt which is formed, it contains one replaceable hydrogen ion. That means only one hydrogen ion has been replaced. That means partial replacement. Now, with the same reactants, NaOH and H2SO4, a salt can be formed with the complete replacement of the replaceable hydrogen ion, and that salt is sodium sulfate plus water. See, in this case, let me balance the equation. Now in this case, the salt which is formed, sodium sulfate, see, it doesn't contain any replaceable hydrogen ion. That means both the hydrogen ions which are present in H2SO4, they are totally replaced. So this salt is formed by the complete replacement of the replaceable hydrogen ion. Now come to the what is a salt. A salt is an ionic compound which dissociates to yield a positive ion and a negative ion, but that positive ion is other than hydrogen ion and the negative ion is other than hydroxyl ion. We know that acid dissociates to give a positive ion, that is hydrogen ion, and base dissociates to give a negative ion, which is the hydroxyl ion. But salt also gets dissociated to give a positive and a negative ion, but other than the hydrogen and hydroxyl ion. For example, if we take an example of salt like sodium chloride, NaCl, then when it dissociates, it gives one positive ion, sodium ion, Na+, and chloride ion, Cl-. So it dissociates into a positive ion and a negative ion, but except hydrogen ion and hydroxyl ion. Clear? Now, classification of salts. First type is the acid salt. Acid salts are those salts which are formed by the partial replacement of the replaceable hydrogen ion of an acid by a basic radical. I have already told you about this. I am again repeating the example. If we take NaOH and H2SO4, and if there is partial replacement of the hydrogen ion, then you already know the salt which is formed is NaHSO4. That means sodium bisulfate. Here it contains one replaceable hydrogen ion. That means the 2 hydrogens which are present in H2SO4 is not totally replaced. Apart from this sodium bisulfate, there are other salts like sodium bicarbonate, which is formed from carbonic acid, sodium bisulfite, which is formed from sulfurous acid, and there is obviously sodium bisulfate, which is formed from sulfuric acid. Clear? Now, and in this acid salts, they always contain a replaceable hydrogen atom in its molecule. Okay. Next category is normal salt. Normal salts are those salts which are formed by the complete replacement of the replaceable hydrogen ion of an acid by a basic radical. This example also I have given you with NaOH and H2SO4. If there is a complete replacement of replaceable hydrogen ion, then it will form a salt, sodium sulfate, Na2SO4. See, in case of Na2SO4 or sodium sulfate, there is no replaceable hydrogen ion. So these type of salts, they do not contain any replaceable hydrogen atom in its molecule, because the two hydrogen ions, or the two replaceable hydrogen ions which are present in H2SO4, have been totally replaced. So this type of salt is formed by the complete replacement of the replaceable hydrogen ion of an acid. Apart from the sodium sulfate, there are other salts like sodium nitrate, which is formed from nitric acid, sodium chloride, which is formed from hydrochloric acid, HCl, then sodium acetate is there, which is formed from acetic acid. Again, sodium carbonate is there from carbonic acid. Sodium sulfite is there from sulfurous acid, and obviously sodium sulfate is there from sulfuric acid. These are the examples of normal salts. Now, next is the basic salt. What is a basic salt? Basic salt is formed by the partial replacement of the hydroxyl radicals of a diacetic or triacetic base with an acid radical. That means it can be a diacetic or triacetic base, and in that base, we know that in a base hydroxyl radicals are present, and this type of salt will be formed by the partial replacement of that hydroxyl radicals with the help of an acid radical. Let's take an example like basic copper nitrate. The formula of basic copper nitrate is CuOH and then NO3. See, here one hydroxyl radical is still present in this compound. That means there is a partial replacement. There is still one hydroxyl radical left that can be replaced. So, basic copper nitrate is a basic salt which is formed by the partial replacement of the hydroxyl radical. Similarly, is the basic copper chloride. Okay, and basic lead nitrate. This also contain one hydroxyl radical, nitrate. See, basic copper nitrate. Clear? So all these type of salts contain one extra hydroxyl radical that is not been replaced. Okay, so partial replacement takes place. Next is double salt. Double salt is a salt which is formed by the mixing of the saturated solution of another two simple salts, and after that crystallization takes place of that saturated solution. Let's see. More salt. It is the mixture of ferrous sulfate and ammonium sulfate. This type of salt always contain two simple salts because it's a mixture of two simple salts, right? So the two salts which are present in more salts, first is the ferrous sulfate and another is the ammonium sulfate. The mixture of these two simple salts give rise to the more salt, and water of crystallization is present as 6H2O. Clear? Next example is alum or potash alum. It consists of K2SO4, that means potassium sulfate and aluminium sulfate, Al2SO4 whole 3, and it also contains water of crystallization as 24H2O. So the two simple salts which are present in case of potash alum or alum is K2SO4, that means potassium sulfate and aluminium sulfate. Clear? So this type of salts always contain two simple salts. Next is mixed salt. There is no general method of formation of mixed salt, but this type of salt contains two or more basic radicals or acid radicals, anything, either basic radicals or acid radicals. See, first example is sodium potassium carbonate. Very easy, sodium potassium carbonate. Clear? Now see, this is a salt or mixed salt which consists of two cation, Na plus and K plus. Clear? So two positive ions are present, or two positive radicals are present. That means positive radicals means basic radicals. So in this particular salt or this particular mixed salt, two basic radicals are present. And in case of bleaching powder, whose formula is CaOClCl, see here, OCl minus and Cl minus, two negative radicals are present. That means two acid radicals are present, and the criteria is that only that a mixed salt can either contain two or more basic radical or it can contain two or more acid radical. Sodium potassium carbonate consists of two basic radical and bleaching powder consists of two acid radicals. Clear? Now next category is complex salt. Complex salt is formed again by the mixing of the saturated solution of the simple salts, which is again followed by the crystallization of the saturated solution. But it is very similar to mixed salt, but there is a slight difference. Why? Let me give you an example and then I will explain you. First example is potassium mercuric iodide. Formula is K2AgI4. See, here in this type of salt, it contains one simple ion and a complex ion. Simple ion is the potassium ion and complex ion is this AgI4 minus. So this type of salt is formed very similarly to that of the double salt, but the difference is double salt consists of two simple salts, but complex salt consists of a simple ion and a complex ion. Clear? Next example is sodium silver cyanide. The formula is this. Now, in this case, this is the simple ion which is present, sodium ion. Okay, sodium ion is present and another is AgCN whole 2 minus. This ion is present. So this is the simple ion and this is the complex ion. So this type of salt consists of one simple ion and another complex ion. Clear? Now comes to the solubility of the metallic salts. See, which salts are soluble? All the salts which consists of sodium, potassium, ammonium ions, all these salts are soluble. All the salts of nitrates and nitrites are totally soluble in water. And in case of bicarbonates, all bicarbonates are soluble except potassium bicarbonate and sodium bicarbonate, because potassium bicarbonate and sodium bicarbonate, they are not readily soluble in water. They are sparingly soluble. In case of sulfates, all sulfates are soluble but except these 4 sulfates. What are they? Lead sulfate, silver sulfate, calcium sulfate and barium sulfate. These sulfates are not soluble in water. In case of chlorides, except these chlorides like lead chloride, silver chloride, mercury chloride, all these chlorides are not soluble in water. But except these 3, all chlorides are soluble. And here one thing that we have to notice, the PbCl2. PbCl2, that is lead chloride, is not soluble in cold water, but it is soluble in hot water. Okay. Apart from this, all sulfides, then carbonates, oxides, hydroxides, phosphates, all the categories or all these salts are insoluble in water. So these salts are insoluble salts and these salts are soluble salts. Clear? Now I think I have made myself clear and this topic is absolutely clear to you all. So this is all for this particular lesson. I will be back with a new lesson very soon. Till then, stay tuned to my channel. And if you think my videos are informative and they're helpful, then please like and share my videos. And don't forget to subscribe my channel. Thank you for watching the video.